3, 2, 1. And they're back. The halos are back, baby. Hey, this is Graham. Welcome back to another video, guys. As some of you have noticed in my last couple of videos, my halos have been missing from my car. And some of you guys have been like, what's going on there? Well, I will tell you what has been going on there. The halos that I had on here before were not waterproof, so water got into them, burnt out some of the bulbs. They looked crappy, so I figured it was better just to like take them out rather than actually like run them with half the bulbs out. But as you can tell from the title of this video, today we are replacing them. And not only that, I'm going to show you guys how I installed these, what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to be able to show you everything exactly because most of it's already there. I went ahead and bought halos that have the same plug on them as the ones that I had before, so all of my wiring where I connect it to the running lights and all of that stuff is still on there. It's still covered up so that I would be able to just plug these in and go. But I figured I would try to best explain how I did it so that you guys can do this too. I know a lot of you guys have asked me about it. A ton of you guys have asked me about it. And I'm excited that so many of you dig this. So many of you are interested in doing this to your own cars. But of course, you've all been wondering how to do it. So I'm finally answering that question. Although I kind of did in my Q&A, but probably most of you guys didn't see that. So I figured I'd make this standalone video, show you guys how I did it, and show you what you need to do to actually do this to your own car. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Okay, so first things first, go ahead and pop your hood open. I want to say that I did go ahead and waterproof these, or I tried to at least. I got some like industrial grade glue that kind of turns to rubber when it dries. So and sealed up the back. So hopefully these won't leak, these won't get ruined by rain and so on and so forth. So I did that, and it's also non-flammable. Make sure it's non-flammable because it's electronics, obviously. But yeah, sorry my engine bay is filthy, but we're gonna go ahead and try to show you guys how you do this. All right, so first things first, you're gonna want to remove the shoot, what's the thing called? This big plastic cover. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it right now. And to do that, you're gonna want to pop all these little pins out. They're all over the place. I think there's 7, 8 of them. So pop all those out, and then you'll be able to take this off. It makes it a little bit easier, not a ton easier, but whatever you can do to make it easier for yourself will help. Like a dummy, I didn't bring a screwdriver out here, so I'm just using my keys. It's working fine, but a flathead screwdriver would make this easier. Just FYI. Alright, so once you've got that removed, you can go ahead and take a look at your wiring. This is where things get serious. If you want to take off your bumper, these bolts here, all along here, and then you have to remove these here in the wheel well. If I can lighten that up for you. There's a few there in the wheel well that you have to take off. And then a few more along the bottom that hold this splitter on. It's fairly involved to take your bumper off. This is why if you already have this GT grill in there and you don't have the fog lights or any of that stuff, I would just say to leave the bumper on the car because it'll be easier for you that way. That's the way I prefer to do this. But let me go ahead and show you guys the wiring. So for the interest of YouTube, I did unplug the wiring harness for the lights. What you're gonna do is obviously distinguish which wire is going to be your positive and negative wire. But to plug this in properly, your positive is going to go to the purple and gray wire. It's a purple wire with a gray stripe down it. That is for the parking lights. But with those, it allows for the halos to turn on when the headlights are on. I don't know exactly I don't know which wire actually runs the daytime running lights. This is the only wiring diagram that I could find online. This is the only thing that I've seen anybody else do. And I don't really feel like experimenting with it because I don't want to mess anything up. So I used the purple wire, which means that when you plug it into that, the halos will come on with the headlights or with the parking lights if you switch it over to the P setting there. But it will not run with the automatic running lights during the day, which is not a big deal. If you ask me, doesn't matter that much to me. But I'm gonna go ahead and plug this puppy back in. Side note, I just realized that I didn't tell you guys where to plug the negative wire into. Obviously, it is the black wire, it is the ground wire. Plug the negative into the ground wire. That way you don't blow a fuse or do anything silly to your car. You want to make sure that everything works properly all the time, so definitely do that. So when I did this, I plugged it into both headlights on both sides, one halo per headlight. Basically, I don't believe you have to do that, but I felt like that was probably the best way to do it, just so that if I ever had any problems, if like one was out and one was on, I would kind of know where to start. So I feel like that's probably the safe way to do it. I would suggest that you guys do it that way too. I know it's a little bit more time consuming, but it's probably worth it in the end. But now it is time to go ahead and plug the halos in. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that now. So now that you've run your wire and you've got the halos plugged in properly, remember positive and negative, make sure all that's right. Once you've got it plugged in properly, it's time to actually plug the halos in. I'm going to go ahead and test them to make sure that they work. So time to plug this puppy in. Now that I've plugged it in, when I hit the unlock button, these should, if everything's proper, if these halos actually work with this plug, these should light up. It is the moment of truth now. 3, 2, 1. I realized why that didn't work. So the positive and negative wires, right, from the car, from the halo, are opposite each other when you plug them in, which is not how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to line up. So I'm gonna have to wire in a new plug for the halos to plug into, which isn't that big of a deal. It's really not that difficult. I was just hoping I wasn't going to have to do it. But you win some, you lose some. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So it is definitely important that I keep track of which wire is which. Positive, negative. I'm going to go ahead and clip the positive, leave the negative plugged in so that I don't forget which one it is, and then go from there. It definitely has to be said that I am not the best at wrapping wire, but you do need to try your best to make sure it's waterproof. Okay, so I may have gone a little overboard on the tape, but better safe than sorry. I always feel. Take 2. Time to see if this works. Plugged in. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Woo, that's bright. Whew. That looks nice though. It does look nice. Honestly, I think that looks a little bit nicer than the ones that I had before. So hopefully they look as nice on the car. But now I'm just gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, and then I'll show you guys how I like to run the wires to the grill, and then how I like to attach the halos to the actual grill itself. Running the wires is super simplistic. Just take your wire. I just run it straight down between the headlight and the bumper. And then once you've done that, you'll be able to see them back in here. You'll be able to pull them through the opening here, which of course is where your halos will be if you do it my way. Of course, you can stick your halos wherever the heck you want. If you have a different grill and you want to put them behind the grill, you could do that, but I have the GT style grill, so this is where I want my halos to be, and this is where I will plug them in. But now I'm going to show you guys how I like to attach them, and it's really straightforward. Obviously, here's your halo. Your wire, I always put the wire at the top, just because I feel like that's the most susceptible place where water could get into it. And I don't want water to get into it. So I always put the wire upwards. And then to hold it on there, I actually use a pretty ridiculous method, as you can probably see right now. But it works. It's what I did before, and it's pretty sturdy. I just do like a sunburst of 3M tape on the back of it, so that when I stick it in there, I can kind of stick the 3M tape down to the inside of the grill, and it does a great job of holding it in. So, I mean, that's how I do it, and that might not be how you guys want to do it. Feel free to try stuff and let me know what works, but this is my way, so I'm gonna keep doing it this way for now. So like I said, I always put the wire up. And voila, it is in. And I like these halos better than the last ones, actually, because the last ones were they kind of had like a yellowish tint to them because of the LEDs inside. But this what's it called? This diffuser on the front of them actually hides that yellow pretty well. So I'm pretty pleased with the way these are looking. They look a little cleaner than the last ones too. Not trying to rip on those last ones, because Annika did get them for me, and they did look great when they were on. But I think these are gonna turn out pretty good, and hopefully I did a good job of waterproofing these. Only time will tell, but so far so good. Obviously you will have quite a bit of wire hanging out, or at least if you do it my way, you probably will. I like that though. I like to have a little wiggle room, so that way I can actually just pull this up through, pull it tight, and then sort it out in the engine bay, rather than worrying about it behind the grill. So that's how I would recommend you do it when you go to do it yourself. 3, 2, 1. And they're back. The halos are back, baby. They look nice. They look really nice. Feels good to finally have some back on the car, keeping that look that I love going on. Now we just hope and pray that these don't die like the last ones did, because that would really suck. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. As always, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and take it easy.